Hi, Chelsea Gilson here, and I'm from Traveling Fig, and I'm here today to talk to you about rosacea and how I cured it. So if you're anything like me and you found yourself on this video, then you probably are thinking that's impossible because you've been told that rosacea is not curable. Well, about 2 years ago, I noticed that my face was starting to get red and bumpy, especially when I drank wine, white wine in particular. I would notice it on my cheeks, sometimes a little bit crawling up my chest. As time went on, it only took a little while, I started to notice it more and more, and then it was getting really bumpy and it wasn't going away. Just when I went to sleep and woke up the next morning, it was kind of staying. And I noticed that a lot of foods, a lot of activities, so many things were making my face so red and inflamed. So I went to a dermatologist. She put me on some medicine that didn't work for me, but she also told me that rosacea is not curable, and in a lot of cases, it only gets worse, which was pretty disheartening. So I tried every remedy under the sun. Honestly, anything that's out there, I read every single article possible on how to not even fix it, how to deal with it or manage rosacea. And I'm going to give you the 6 things that cured my rosacea, that actually cured it. So I did everything in conjunction, so I know that, it was some combination of all of these, but I'm gonna give you them in order of how I think that they helped. Number 1 is diet. So your stomach is a gateway to your face. Anything that comes up on your face is usually a result of your stomach or something else going on inside your body. It just so happens that at the time that I started to get rosacea, I noticed that I was having all these digestive issues. A doctor told me it might be Crohn's disease, which also they said is uncurable, and now I'm completely fine. So I saw all these doctors. They were putting me on everything from Miralax to all these different pills and prescriptions. None of it worked, and I finally went to a Chinese medicine doctor who put me on this diet. And let me tell you that this diet sounds horrible, and it was, but when you get so frustrated, and I was just to the point that I wasn't living my life. I didn't want to go out with my friends, I couldn't travel. I just felt so uncomfortable about my skin, but also my stomach issues, that it had been affecting my life for so long that I was ready to try anything. So I did this diet, and I'm gonna share it with you, and basically everything is cooked, and no gluten, and no dairy. So for breakfast, I would have oatmeal with bananas or apples or whatever berries I had cooked into the oatmeal with almond milk. And then for lunch and dinner, I would have boiled vegetables, boiled chicken, bone broth, rice, anything cooked, usually in a crock pot with not a lot of flavor. So I would make a big crock pot full of cabbage, chicken, all kinds of things, all types of vegetables. Sweet potatoes, I ate a lot of sweet potatoes, again cooked in the crock pot, and that's really all that I ate for 2 months. And then I would have some granola and some kind of making sure that it's gluten-free, a lot of grains. I tried to be kind of carb heavy, and I do believe that this really helped. I noticed within 3 weeks that my skin started to feel better, and also my digestive system started to feel better. When I got off this diet, it was pretty abruptly. I went away for a bachelorette party with friends, and all of a sudden I went from having no coffee, no alcohol, nothing fun, to drinking tequila in Mexico and eating stuff that I hadn't eaten in a long time. So I did notice the rosacea come back a little bit, but not nearly as bad as it had been before. So once I got back home from this trip, I started a food diary, and I was so careful about how I recorded everything. So right away I noticed that eggs bothered me. So I had been, used to having eggs in the mornings. I loved eggs. And I noticed that within 30 minutes eating them, my cheeks would be so red and hot to the touch. I noticed that coffee really bothered me. Not as much if I added some almond milk to it or had a cappuccino or a latte, but I did notice that caffeine really bothered my cheeks. Obviously, alcohol did not help the situation, especially wine. That was so hard for me to drink without my face getting inflamed. Chocolate, I noticed some trouble with. There was a whole list of foods that right after I ate them, within 30 minutes, I would notice my face get inflamed. So keeping this diary, and I also kept track of when I was going to the bathroom and how my digestive system was going, keeping this diary gave me a window into my trigger foods. They might be different for you. Those ones really bothered me. So I started to try to eliminate them or have less of them and be as careful as I could about what I was putting in my body. I also made sure that I took a really good probiotic to keep my gut bacteria nice in my stomach. I had green tea a lot, usually at room temperature. And then I had turmeric and ginger every day. I would try, and some apple cider vinegar. I would try to have some kind of tea or use them in my cooking or something, but turmeric and fresh ginger grated were important. They were essential to keeping inflammation down. Moving on. Number 2, I started to get LED facials. So LED facials are basically you put on this mask, and there's a bunch of different lights you can use, but green is supposed to be the most calming. It pulses light, I guess, into your skin. I'm not 100% sure how it worked, but this place up the street for me was advertising it for it, and I bought enough of them that I got a special, so it only cost me $30 or $40 each time that I went in. I was doing this once a month. I noticed results from this 2 or 3 days after I would go. I would notice that my skin felt clearer. They have at-home LED face lamp kits. I've never used them. I know they're not as powerful as the in-salon ones, but you can use them every day. So that might be something to look into if you don't have a facial place near you that offers this for as good of a discount as I was getting it. Now that my rosacea has cleared up, I still get these LED facials, but just maybe once every 4 months or 5 months. Okay, number 3. So the stuff I was putting on my face before I got rosacea it was so bad. It had so many chemicals in it. It had fragrances in it. I was kind of all over the place with my facial skincare regime. Once I got rosacea, I started to I did my research, I only use this brand called Paula's Choice. And I really loved their stuff because they had a line that was especially for people with rosacea or sensitive skin or some kind of skin problems, but also if they had dry skin, which was, probably my #1 issue next to rosacea. And rosacea can be very drying. So I would do an overnight mask on my face every night, and then I would use her day cream, which had a little bit of SPF, which is so important for people with rosacea. The sun can really inflame your skin instantly. So using those 2 products from her, and then I just used a gentle oil cleanser that I bought from Trader Joe's to wipe off any makeup that I wore that day. Speaking of makeup, so I started to use BB creams only because I didn't want to clog my pores. Now it doesn't matter which BB cream you use, but which brand you use, but I definitely recommend using one for acne because it has salicylic acid in it, and just enough that it can help with the inflammation. So it's obviously used for acne, that's the primary purpose of it, but I did definitely notice help with rosacea, and I wanted to cover the rosacea every day. So having something that covered it and felt like it was treating it definitely helped me a lot, and I can recommend that. So make sure that you go through all of your makeups. You don't want anything thick and heavy that will clog your pores and make things worse. BB creams are your best path of least resistance in helping cure the skin and also covering it up. Okay, next I want to talk about stress. I think stress is probably way more important than I'm giving it credit for in my list of most important to least important. But managing stress is definitely something that will help with your rosacea. I noticed that when I was at my most stressed, my skin was inflamed, even my neck would be, especially if I felt like rushed or like my heart was beating really fast. So I had to cut out any of my workouts that were specifically making my heart race. So I was doing a lot of Barry's Boot Camp, a lot of Cycle House, a lot of these awesome workouts that are so good for you. But I was noticing that my stress levels in them were so high, and just that kind of working out and bringing all the blood to the surface of my skin was making my rosacea come on so quickly and then stay for so long. So I cut out all of those like stress-inducing workouts. I tried to do a lot more yoga and just, regular, easy, gentle stretching and Pilates. I tried to have a meditation practice, which I still have not honed in, but I did try to be mindful. So every morning when I was having my tea, I tried to sip it nice and slowly. I tried to make sure that I ate nice and slowly, really so I could kind of focus on my body and how my body was processing things, and did my cheeks feel hot there? But this kind of slowed me down a lot. I tried to get more sleep, which is so important, and just like general well-being. I just kind of tried to take everything with a grain of salt and not let stress get the best of me so that my skin was not affected by the stress. Lastly, you don't want to be in hot places. Like, you don't want to be in saunas, you don't want to be in steam rooms, you don't want to be doing hot yoga in a 100-degree room because your face will become inflamed. It's really important to stay away from those hot places that trigger your skin. Another thing that I realized was that having super hot tea, when I went to go take a sip, my face would immediately become red and the bumps would come out. So no hot tea, like super hot tea, you can leave it out for a little bit. No super hot foods. You want to keep your temperature of your house at like 68 degrees, always the same, not going from extreme AC to extreme heat. Easier than said than done if you live somewhere that's hot and humid, but just be as mindful as you can. And those are the things. I actually did so many other things. Like, I got acupuncture and used essential oils and tried all this other stuff, but these are the main things that I strongly believe that this combination of these 6 things helped me so much. And now I can honestly say that I'm rosacea free. I still am a little bit careful. I think that caffeine can still bother me sometimes, but it's not the red bumps. It'll just be pink flushed in my cheeks, which is so much better and something I can totally handle. And please leave a comment below if something else has helped you, or you've tried something and it hasn't helped you. Like, I'd love to help you along your journey, but also so we can have a community, so we can help each other. Everyone's going to be different on what works for them, but I truly believe that there is a cure, and that your path doesn't have to be, well, this is who I am and I have rosacea for the rest of my life. It can be fixed. Whole foods, eating healthy, eating clean, letting go of stress, making sure that what you put on your skin isn't irritating it, and you can see results. Thank you for watching. I am going to do a full write-up with a nice blog post at travelingfig.com, so make sure to check it out.